it is also caused by the social influences around you at that time as a student. And hence, I went for my master's program in the US. And there, graduate life can get very hectic. Initially, from here, it seemed as if it's just a few credits per semester. But once I landed there, you can imagine, no, it was very different scenario. And that too, I was also ambitious and had a drive. And hence my experience at that time was, for me, time was in terms of deadlines. There used to be one deadline after the other. Because coursework, multiple courses. And when you are ambitious, you take up such courses that satisfy your drive to achieve things. And in that you push yourselves relentlessly, day in, day out. You keep on pushing yourselves, pushing. That is how ambition or drive works. And hence, I was not aware of the seasons, for example. You can imagine, no? Summer, winter. In the East Coast, the fall colors are very beautiful. The spring, there is pollen. There is a layer of pollen that accumulates. I was not aware of all that. I was not aware of nature. I was not aware of people around me. All that I was aware of was that drive. And that the intensity of that drive, the fire, it burns you from within. So that was what life was like for me. So in that drive, I would hardly be sleeping 3-4 hours a day in, day out, no break. I would not be aware of weekends, for example. So it's deadlines one after the other, this, that. That was how I perceived, or that is how I perceive those times. And this intensity, so there was something to constantly engage me. That drive was there. And when I graduated, suddenly it was empty. My past was done. And somehow I felt spent. And I did not want to take up a job immediately. Though I was in, my financial circumstances were not so great. I was almost broke because I did not have funding or assistantship. So you can see, in spite of financial requirements, I still somehow felt, let me just let go for the time being. And that period also was a New Year's, period, where my roommates wanted to go for party. I'm generally not the kind of person who rejects anything. I just accept anything that comes my way. But at that time, somehow, I did not feel like going. So I said, no, this time I will not join you. My roommates were great, people. So they allowed me to be. And for 3 days, I was left physically alone. And also spent. Spent to an extent where I had no past regrets, past thoughts. All that was done. And the future was not yet born. I was not planning for the future immediately. I just wanted to be, not just be. In that space of now, things settled down. Where I was not, consciously planning or holding things up. Constantly driving myself to perform. Day in, day out. Deadline after deadline after deadline. I was not pushing myself. And that caused a very deep state of relaxation. So deeply relaxed that time stopped for me. It was always now. Boundaries, dissolved. What I felt as myself in terms of that drive and ambition and routine and habitual patterns, physical habits as well as emotional and mental habits. All those relaxed. And since I was alone, there was nobody to reinforce those habitual patterns. And since I already had a sort of a pure lifestyle, simple eating habits, simple, healthy physical habits, simple health and hygiene, and also good state of health, simple exercise, asana, Surya Namaskar, and so on. And that way, there was nothing to pursue. And in that deep state of relaxation, there was nothing else. So when my roommates returned back after 3 days, they could not find the Adi that they had left behind. That Adi had dissolved. When we say a person, we recognize the person with respect to their outward habits, habitual expressions. We say that this person likes this kind of food, likes this kind of space. This person is like this. So we identify anybody with their external behavioral patterns, the attitudes that they display. And here was a person who used to be good, jolly, lovable person, pleasant, cheerful, lending a helping hand wherever need be, non-conflicting, like that, simple person. But now there was no movement. This person did not even open the mouth, was still, no sign of any movement at all. And for them it was very shocking. So as long as I was agitated, people around me were peaceful. When I became peaceful, everyone got agitated. Not in a negative sense, but that's when I felt the need, since they were well wishers, they obviously had questions. What has changed? Why are you like this? Why are you not normal? I started exploring the Indian Shastra, the Indian philosophical texts. And then I understood the experience, the nature of the experience that I was having. So later I understood that the experience is called Samadhi. That is how later I developed the knowledge of, okay, this is how it's been mentioned in the Shastra.